Finally, we know who Rahul is. He is a terrorist. Welcome, Swagatham, Vanakkam. According to some enthusiastic BJP stalwarts, Rahul Gandhi is no longer a papu, no longer a specimen of Bal Buddhi or Balak Buddhi. At long last, enlightenment has dawned on BJP, maybe not as a party, but some members of the BJP, and they have made the final discovery that Rahul Gandhi is a terrorist. Now at least all speculations about him will stop, and now that his real identity has been discovered, this process of naming him will stop, and the life of this nation can go on in somewhat of a normal fashion, I hope. But my concern in this video is not so much that a very profound, extremely relevant and truthful discovery has been made about the quintessence of Rahul Gandhi, the leader of the opposition, trusted by millions and millions of Indians in this country, voted as a member of the parliament by two constituencies, one in Kerala and the other in UP. And I'm sure all of them did not know the real identity of Rahul Gandhi. They did not know that Rahul Gandhi was a Pakka terrorist, and therefore they attached their heart and soul to him. And ever since, millions and millions more are doing so. I'm sure all that will now end, now that the ultimate revelation, the oracular revelation about the quintessence of Rahul Gandhi has been made, with Mr. Pitta in the lead, the charge. But I'm making this video mainly to express my disappointment with the Congress's response to this revelation. Apparently, an FIR has been lodged, and the Youth Congress is protesting at the gate of BJP in Delhi. I very sincerely feel that all this is completely uncalled for. It's totally out of place. It's far below the gravity and dignity of a party like the Congress to pay any attention whatsoever to all these desperate statements, allegations, accusations, aspersions. Let me tell you how I view this. You can then tell me how you think about it. I would read this latest revelation concerning the real truth about Rahul Gandhi as a sign of sheer desperation. For about 10-15 years, the BJP tried its level best to discredit Rahul Gandhi as Pappu. The project failed miserably. Then an attempt was made somewhat obliquely to label him Balak Buddhi, which is a variant, I suppose, of this Pappu nomenclature. That also failed to stick. Now, therefore, I can understand when a party, a camp, makes such concerted, orchestrated efforts spread over such a long period of time, investing so much of money, energy, and brains into it, and the whole thing fails and fails and fails, it's only to be understood that this would generate immeasurable bewilderment in that camp. Quite frankly, the message I get from all of this is that the BJP simply does not know how to deal with Rahul Gandhi. And one of the videos I made maybe about 4 or 5 months ago, I quoted a few words from that old film classic, Sound of Music. How do you solve a problem like Maria? So the BJP version, of course, is how do you solve a problem like Rahul Gandhi? That's the issue. And if I were a congressman, which I am not, I would be elated at this development. That the BJP is now reduced to the desperate state of having to clutch at any straw that passes in the wind. Any straw in the wind. It's that desperate. Because they simply do not know how to deal with Rahul Gandhi. They're completely foxed, flummoxed, bewildered. They're out of their depths, out of their wits. So what the Congress party should do, and at least I hope Rahul Gandhi would have the sense to do this, he should send a letter to each of these people who are repeating this chorus, thanking them for publicly displaying their complete and insufferable bewilderment at dealing with Rahul Gandhi as a political challenge. He must offer his sympathy, he must empathize with them, and he must also thank them for being so frank in making this public confession that now Rahul Gandhi is beyond their means of handling. Because, my dear friends, it's a very simple fact which even kindergarten children would know, that when somebody, a party or a camp or a group or whatever, is reduced to the desperate remedy of having to call a person names one after the other, changing from one abuse to another, like changing your shirt or whatever, what it really means is that Rahul Gandhi has got under their skin. What it really means is that they now realize that Rahul Gandhi is far too much for them to handle. What it really means is that they realize, and they are now willing to admit this in public, that all their past efforts, protracted, strenuous efforts, made over a period of time to discredit him, has reached nowhere. On the other hand, he seems to be going from strength to strength. So the ultimate political abuse that can be hurled at a person in public life in India is to brand him a terrorist. Surely, no one in India in his or her senses would consider it to be a factual statement about who Rahul Gandhi is. The people of India are mature enough, discerning and intelligent enough to know that this is nothing but name calling, and a person resorts to the very cheap and desperate strategy of name calling only because he has no other effective means of managing him or stopping him, halting him, or disturbing the bridge of popularity that Rahul is so effectively and speedily building with the people of India everywhere. And the more his popularity increases, the more this kind of vituperative attack should be expected. And as far as I am concerned, I would see this only, that is, the series of vituperative, malignant attacks, only as a public confession and a public acknowledgement of Rahul's worth. There is this old English proverb to the effect that nobody kicks a dead horse. So at least it is now admitted in public that Rahul is not a dead horse, that he is a race horse, and that his detractors are not able to keep pace with him. So the Congress party should really thank all these people for coming out with newer and newer invectives, abuses, etc. Because all of that amount to just one thing, a public confession of their mounting anxieties and escalating, intensifying sense of inferiority and inadequacy. So this is something, and therefore I would sincerely advise the Congress party to withdraw the FIR lodged against these people. Instead, a press conference must be convened at which all these people must be appropriately thanked, and someone like Shashi Tharoor, who has the gift of the gap, must be used for it, and Shashi Tharoor should speak for a full 30 minutes, if not 1 hour, expressing the party's gratitude and appreciation for the favors being done to the party, particularly to Rahul Gandhi, far beyond the imagination and expectation of not only the Congress party but also the citizens of this country. Now, there is one other thing I want to say, and I'll have to offer an apology before I enter into that. What I'm going to say would betray something of my literature background and bias. Please bear with me, but the point I'm going to make, I'm sure you will realize to be very relevant. In literature, there is something called irony. And there are 2 types of ironies. Irony, you employ irony when you, pardon me, you employ irony when you want to attack somebody. Irony is never flattering. Irony is derogatory, pejorative. There are 2 types of irony. One type is called incongruous irony, and the other is called inevitable irony. Very easy to remember, 2 words, incongruous irony, inevitable irony. I introduced these 2 concepts to enable us to think clearly, because what is needed in situations like this is the capacity and the freedom to think clearly. If you don't think clearly, you will overreact, and you will actually, by overreacting, lend some credibility and undeserved dignity to these very, very mean-minded people. Now, what do we mean by incongruous irony? By incongruous irony, we mean the more somebody is sought to be discredited, maligned, ridiculed, the more noble he seems, the more popular he becomes, the more he is loved, respected and cherished. In other words, it is ironic because it has a counter effect, completely counterproductive. Now, for example, suppose you ridicule Mahatma Gandhi. You invent all kinds of things about him and say, oh, he was this, he was that, he was a terrorist, he was a communalist, he was this, he was that. The more you abuse him, the more glorified he would seem in the eyes of the people. And the people who discredit him will be discredited all the more in the eyes of the people. That's what is meant by incongruous irony. The attack that you launch on this person is completely incongruous with him. Inevitable irony is, the more you attack him, the more degraded he becomes. He is inevitably degraded. In the other instance, he is inevitably ennobled, glorified, loved, cherished. His value goes up and up. In the second instance of inevitable irony, for example, I have stolen your purse or something, right? And you turn around and say, well, you took my purse. And then I offer all kinds of arguments. You know, I belong to this family which is known for its integrity. I'm a Christian never steals things. Moreover, I was a teacher. How can you think of a teacher in this light? And so on. The more I defend myself, the more inevitably I get ridiculed. The ridicule on me increases the more I try to defend myself. It's far better for me to admit my mischief or my theft, my dishonesty, and apologize for it. The more I try to defend and justify myself, the more ridiculous I become. That's inevitable irony. So, incongruous irony, inevitable irony. Now, you tell me, to which category Rahul Gandhi belongs? Clearly, he belongs to the first category of incongruous irony. What all tactics have been used in recent times to show this man in such a poor light, to discredit him, to devalue him, to caricature him, to calumniate him. What has happened? He's growing in the affection of the people. And surely this is adequate to drive his detractors to desperation. And the tendency to invent newer and newer allegations, accusations, and pejorative ascriptions, in my line of thinking, shows nothing but the desperation of those who are involved, unfortunately, in this futile exercise of discrediting Rahul Gandhi. And therefore, ironically, incongruous irony, ironically, his detractors are actually doing him a great service. The people of India know this. Believe you me, everybody knows this. I don't think anybody is taken in by any of these uncivilized, intemperate statements. If you expect anybody in India to believe that Rahul Gandhi is a terrorist, you can expect that person to believe that the moon is made of green cheese, or that the buffalo comes out of a hen's egg. That's where it is. So, I hail Rahul Gandhi as a terrorist. Yes, he is a terror. I'll conclude on that. He is a terror for those who have their agendas and those who feel that their agendas are threatened. So he is a terrorist in relation to a certain political style of functioning or a certain style of doing politics, a certain ideological pedigree, if you like. Is a terrorist to them. So what the statement or this ascription or this allegation means is that we feel your power to such an extent that you are to us a terrorist. We fear you. We don't know. We don't know when you will strike us. We do not know what you will say next. For example, when Rahul Gandhi speaks in the parliament, you can watch this. The treasury benches are in a state of confused anxiety. What's going to come up next? What's going to say next? So in that sense, yes, he's a terrorist. That's why I'm saying that it's very, very silly to turn this into a case, to file an FIR or to litigate. Should be celebrated as a public confession of the unbearable, unmanageable impact Rahul Gandhi is having on BJP as a party and its camp followers as a group of people. Great encomium, great certificate, great acknowledgement. Rahul Gandhi should say thank you very much and sing the national anthem also. Janagana mana adinayaka jaya he bharata bhagya vidhata Punjab Sindhu Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Banga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Uchchala Jalada Tiranga. So I repeat this to myself because whenever anything bitter, anything negative, anything uncivil, intemperate, uncivilized strikes me like the blow of a foul wind on my face, I repeat the national anthem to myself. I don't sing it, I just repeat it within myself. It regales me, it enables me to cheer up. It's such a beautiful song. We are so privileged to have this wonderful song. And may the meaning of the national anthem sink into the soul of every Indian. And may we become a people who deserve that national anthem. Thank you. Jai Hind. Vande Mataram.